going on, Jerome's Raw Real Garage Rant, because no one told you life was going to be this way. Yeah, so starting out 0-3 against the Dallas Mavericks, and it's been really tough, right? And it's been a phenomenal season. Don't lose sight of that. And also, I think the fact that the Wolves superstars are all 24 and under, I think that does give you a beautiful view of the future. And Anthony Edwards is still growing and showing. Nas freaking Reed is still that guy. McDaniels is going to be a cornerstone piece for many years to come, right? And really, the only elder statesman is Conley. I mean, Rudy's a little bit older, as well as Cat is going to be going into year 10 next year. But I don't know. It just seems weird, but also, so I know I'm the uber positive purple Kool-Aid guy, right? Vikings going to win the Super Bowl every single year. A dozen Lombardies in the next 10 years. But I feel oddly confident. Like, I do feel pretty good. And it does kind of seem like this series is analogous to the Colts comeback, right? So down, 33-0, whatever, against Indianapolis. But all of the mistakes in the first half that put the Vikings in that hole, all we need is 5 touchdowns, we're self-inflicted. All right, so mistakes, drops, fumbles, bad execution, everything. But the Colts weren't taking advantage. I mean, the Colts should have been up like 49-0 at halftime, if we're being honest here. And it felt like the Vikings just had to stop shooting themselves in the foot. And maybe they're feeling the pressure because they're having a phenomenal 2022 season. They're playing on a Saturday standalone game. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, coming out of halftime, there's no pressure on you because of how worse can it get, right? And then the Vikings, they got some momentum, they got it going, win overtime, and it was over. Plus, you remember the looks. The Colts player at the coin toss was just all defeated, like, ugh. And then C.J. Ham was like, that's what it's going to be, man. Because all the pressure's on the Mavericks. And I don't say that facetiously. I say that legitimately because they have to win tonight. Like, they have to close out the Wolves, because if the Wolves get 1, they're at least getting 2, and they're going to turn this thing back into a series. Because if and when the Wolves win Game 4, they're going to come back to Target Center, and I feel like Game 5 in this series is going to be like Game 6 against the Nuggets. Like, it is going to be an ass whooping, because a lot of the plastic fans are going to be out of the seats. The loud and proud fans are going to be back in there. I think the energy is going to be different. And also, I feel like having no pressure is good, because maybe the Wolves came into the start of the series feeling that pressure. It's like, okay, we're in the Final Four. This is somewhere that none of us had ever been before, as well as, hey, we just beat the reigning defending NBA champs on their floor. So, and also, I mean, the Mavericks came in as a lower seeded team, so we're expected to win. And it'd be one thing if the Wolves were playing flawless basketball, everything clicking, and they're losing by 10. That's not the case. All 3 of these games could have easily went the Wolves' way, especially Game 2, and also parts of Game 3. But again, the pressure's on Dallas, because Dallas has been playing absolutely insane, above the rim, lights out basketball. Luke is certainly on one. Kyrie Irving is playing some of the best ball of his career, and they got to keep this up, because again, they're doing all of this. Luka and Kyrie playing out of their gourds. The front line has been insane as well. And they're just hitting shot after shot after shot. Like, honestly, it feels like sometimes like they're shooting like 70, 80%. It's not true, but it feels like in clutch time, in big time shot time, like they're just absolutely just ripping the cover off the ball, right? And the Wolves have been bricking all over the place. I mean, karl-Anthony Towns, I feel bad for Cat, because Cat dispelled a lot of the narratives around him in the first 2 series. Like, he was a major part of the Suns series, and his defense on Jokic and his offensive game. Like, he was the MVP of the Dallas series, or excuse me, the Denver series. But against Dallas, like, he has been inexplicably terrible, which is weird because offensively and defensively, his matchups are the best of the playoffs. I mean, Phoenix and Denver, which were much more difficult for him. But he could not make a shot if his life depended on it. Like, he 0 for 8 from 3 is just so damn frustrating. And we're banking on the fact that he cannot be that terrible this long, right? And I do think that Cat has a chip on his shoulder as I choke and die. Is that you, Rana? And I think that he will get back to good. And also, Anthony Edwards woke up in the third quarter. So that huge dunk over Gabbard. And I think that he got back to being the Anthony Edwards of old. He had a run of scoring points, and he was getting his shots again. And there's been times throughout the series where Ant has looked tired or Ant has looked hesitant, and it's so frustrating. Like when Ant would dribble drive, and he would normally take a jumper or take it to the rack. And I mean, respect. I mean, Dallas's defense has been pretty solid, but he's just over deferring. He's just kicking it out, trying to make the extra pass, and it's just. I mean, that's what happened at the end of game 2 when the Wolves were up 2 and Anthony Edwards dribble drive, and instead of taking the shot, was trying to make a bad pass. It's frustrating, man. Like at a certain point, Ant, you got to be the alpha, and don't care if you're tired, don't care if you're getting D'd up, don't care. Just keep shooting because eventually they're gonna fall. That's what it is, man. But I think the Wolves are in a great spot now because there's zero goose egg, D'Angelo Russell, zero pressure on them. Because everyone expects them to get swept, right? But like I said, all the pressure's on Dallas because they got to close this thing out. And it's just like the Vikings and Colts game, where after the Vikings, got some points on the board, the pressure was on the Colts. I mean, they had 36 and just like, oh, here they come. Oh, we better pucker up. Oh, we got to get a stop here. Oh, we got to get a first down, and they turtled. I mean, it's not the first time that Matt Ryan has turtled with a massive lead late in the game, right? And I think the Mavericks, so Luka has to stay hot. Kyrie has to stay insanely hot. I don't think that they could do it for the whole series. And again, the pressure is all on them because if the Wolves win tonight, they're winning Game 5. They're at least making this 3-2, going back to Dallas for Game 6. That's where it is because I don't think there's a situation where the Wolves lose in 5. They either get swept tonight or this thing is at least going 6, and then anything can happen, right? And I think this team plays the best when they play fun, fast, free basketball. Like you could tell, like in games 3, 4, 5 against Denver that they did pucker up. Like maybe the weight of expectations, something that they haven't experienced before as a collective, it got to them. But starting out against the Phoenix Suns, like sweeping them because everyone picked Phoenix to upset the 3-seed Wolves. They played with no pressure. The same thing walking into the Denver series. First 2 games, they're just like, whatever. We're playing the defending champs. They have home court. What are we supposed to do? The 1-2 there. And also, Game 6 against Denver, I mean, there was no pressure again. They just lost 3 in a row, which they just did again against Dallas. And then guess what? They came back. And there's no pressure. They can just ball, and they can just get after things. And I actually do think that the Wolves not only are going to put up a damn good fight, I think the Wolves have a chance to get a blowout win in Game 4, and they'll go back to the crib Game 5, get another blowout win, and then all of a sudden, baby, we got a series again. And I know teams down 0-3 are 0 and 154. It all starts with 1. I mean, NCAA tournament, 16 seed, never beat a 1 before someone did. Maryland, Baltimore County, beating Virginia. Stupid. I feel like if there's a 7th ring of hell, it's watching Virginia basketball. That's it, man. That's it. But Wolves in 7. Don't stop believing. That's right, baby. Anyways, you know what's up. Skull, no production value.